what are you hoping Nintendo announces in 2020? I mean, this is all just, we're not being realistic with our, I mean, I would like it to be somewhat realistic. I don't want you to be like, hey, I want, Metroid Prime 550, whatever. You know what I mean? Like legitimately, like, what are you hoping comes from Nintendo this year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have that heavy hitter in the beginning of the year with Animal Crossing. Realistically, I would like something before that. Animal Crossing's April or March?
No, March.
March. So yeah, something maybe February. Maybe you can sneak in like a port or something. Super Mario 3D World would be...
We are getting Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Okay.
That's coming in January.
That's not bad, yeah.
And you might go like, well, that it's a meaty RPG.
Yep.
It's a really good RPG.
Especially Persona's, becoming so big. That's like the closest.
It's the closest to a Persona game without being titled Persona, made by the same studio, same developers, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The difference is, when I was talking to Sean, in Persona you have these personas.
Yeah.
And in this one, you basically have these images that come up, but the personas are basically like you're summoning demons and dragons to fight for you. In this, you summon old Fire Emblem characters to come fight for you.
Oh.
So it's actually really cool how they handle it. You know what I mean?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's different. So basically you're playing the game in the Persona type world. And then I forget what they call it. I can't remember, but it's very similar to Persona for the musical side of it. And then what you do is, when you're fighting, you could summon these demons and stuff to help you, but the demons are actually old Fire Emblem characters.
Yeah,
it's really
definitely
cool.
Has a bigger following. Well, as big as it can be for the Wii U, but I think for me, mostly just filling out the first half of the year, because they've been having, I think, problems with that. Like this past year, really the really like meat of the games started in August. So from like August till now, it's just been like a whirlwind of like releases, and like I've missed a few because of that. So I think if they can kind of space out the first half of the year, and then we talk about the end of the year, we really don't know much. Like Breath of the Wild 2 is kind of up in the air whether or not that'll come out. My feeling on that is either holiday or like March 2021. I think that's kind of like a good. Then we have Xenoblade Chronicles X remake. So there's a lot of like room for games.
Yeah.
I'm hoping one of the bigger games besides Breath of the Wild gets a sequel or gets like the next game for it. We've mentioned Mario Kart before. Splatoon would be like giant.
Yeah.
I think Splatoon, you have Splatoon and Animal Crossing. I don't need anything else. That's it. It's the whole year.
I think, so for me, the first thing I want is I want them to announce a special edition console for Animal Crossing. In my heart, I want an actual full-on Switch. I want the dock. I want anything. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think it's going to be a Switch Lite.
Okay.
The reason why I've been saying this for a while now is the number one the number one person that buys a Switch Lite is a female. That being said, Animal Crossing is developed by an almost all-female studio, and it's very female-centric. So I feel like they're going to cater more towards women in this particular aspect, which rightfully they should. You got to go where your money is.
Yeah.
If they don't give me a full-on, like a big Switch, then I want a Pro Controller, a special edition Pro Controller.
Okay.
But there's so much I want from Animal Crossing to happen. I want them to treat this like they would with a Mario, like they would with a Zelda, like they would with a Pokemon. Like I want them to go all in with this and really do it up and really treat this franchise like a grade A, a top tier. Beyond that, though, when I look at it, I want something. I'm hoping that Nintendo digs into the well and announces something that we're not expecting for 2020. So I either want one of two things. I want a brand new Kid Icarus game announced. I'm not saying I want to play these games in 2020. I want it announced. If it hits in 2020, wonderful. If it doesn't, I'm not upset about it. But I want to get it announced. I want a new Kid Icarus or I want a new Punch-Out game. Those are the two franchises that I love. They're near and dear to my heart from Nintendo. And I want them to go back into the well and really dig deep and give us something of that nature.
Yeah.
Punch-Out's a little tough because boxing's in a weird spot right now.
Yeah.
But Kid Icarus definitely could do it. I could definitely see something like that happening.
Yeah.
But I agree with what you're saying. I do want them to work better on the first half of the year. I feel like it's been a big mistake on Nintendo's part they've done this for 2 years straight now. This isn't just this year. They did it the year before. The difference was the year before, they really had nothing to fill out the back half of the year. This year, they got hit with a deluge of games, not just from them, but from third parties. Mm-hmm. So I think the first part of the year is a little tough because I think they look at people are like a little hungover from the Christmas holiday.
Yeah.
So people aren't really willing to go spend a lot of money in January, February. That's part one. So March is typically when I think they like to try to kick things off and get the ball rolling. But in the past 2 years, it's been March, and then it doesn't feel like until we get to June that we start to... I mean, we get games, don't get me wrong. I know there's people out there screaming, like, oh, we got this, so we got this. Stop. You know what I'm talking about.
Nintendo games.
No, I want good Nintendo games.
And that's the thing, too, because the games that have been released early in the year have been games like Kirby and Yoshi, where it's like not everyone likes that. So I think, personally, there's been a giant gap, and then you get, like, overwhelmed later half of the year, which hurts you because you miss out on some releases.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're just intending you to use the next year to play them, but yeah, I think the pacing is the biggest thing. I mean, me personally, I would love a Star Fox. If we're going on like wish list stuff,
that's kind of what I want. I want.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we have to play these games in 2020.
Yeah.
But I would like to hear them announced at least.
Yeah. I'm interested for the next Star Fox because I think kind of like Ubisoft kind of like humbled Nintendo a little bit. Like, look how great our Star Fox game was. Like, and I think Nintendo's going to go big. I mean, if they're going to make a game anytime soon, I would like to see Nintendo's version because I think they're going to take a little bit from what they did.
I would have, honestly, if it was me, I would have gone to Ubisoft and just been like, you have the keys to the kingdom, go make us a Star Fox game.
Yeah.
Like, they proved that they could do it. You know what I mean? Speaking of Ubisoft, I would love a Mario Rabbids 2 in 2020. Mm-hmm. Like, they're notorious for quick turnarounds on games. I'm surprised they haven't. I'm surprised we didn't get it last year, if I'm being honest. So I think that we might possibly get that. Something else that I want. The game I want that, like, I want to play in 2020 is Splatoon 3.
I really do too.
Like, I feel like it's such a mistake on Nintendo's part to just stop delivering content to that game.
The momentum that game has lost, it's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, you go on now and you jump into lobbies and you sit, and you never used to sit. Like, for 2 years, you did not sit. There's no reason in the world that we're sitting in year 3 to try to get, and it just gets to the point where I'm just like, there's no reason for me to go back and play. I have all the gear. You know what I mean? There's a few things that I could do. I could play the single-player campaign. I still got to do the Octopath, whatever it is, or not the Octopath, the Octo whatever expansion.
Oh, the expansion. Yeah.
I got to finish it. I played some of it, but it's just, to me, that game's tried and true, beautiful thing is in the multiplayer aspect of it. The single player is fine, but it's just not where it needs to be. In my estimation.
I feel like they need to add some kind of like a mode that like appeals to the esports because it is an esports game. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they need a mode. I don't know what it would be. Not 100 people drop into a map, but I think they definitely need some kind of a mode that like could become like an esports game, and then they need to really support that game besides Splatfest. Because we were talking in the live stream the other day, and people are like, "Yeah, the Splatfests are fine. They're they get a little bit of excitement for that day, but like you need something more."
How